Good morning and welcome back to Morning Live for the Sports Desk. My name is Vasiwe Ngobo. Now, the tennis season has moved to the grass courts. One of the main stories is, of course, the return to action of tennis great Serena Williams. Now, to help us understand the significance of this move, we have tennis analyst Bruce Davidson as well as international tennis commentator Robbie Koening. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports on Morning Live.
Yeah, morning, V. Good to be front and center for tennis. There's so much to discuss, of course, as Bruce knows all too well what a part of the year this is.
Yeah, good morning to all the viewers, and wonderful to be in the grass court season. It's one of the special moments of the year, the summer over in England.
Certainly. Now, Robbie, let me start with you. You're in England at the moment. Tell us about how the tennis world has reacted to this news of a wild card in the form of seven-time Wimbledon champion Serena Williams participating in this year's tournament, but also without her coach, Patrick.
Yeah, obviously everybody is super pumped about it because she hasn't been playing much of late. And we know that the best chance of her winning another major is certainly here on the lawns of the All England Club. Without a doubt, she plays her best tennis on the surface. It's a surface where the rallies tend to be a little shorter. And having one of the greatest weapons in the sport with her serve, you know, it just adds to the possibility of her winning. Of course, with Patrick not around anymore, he's now coaching Simona Halep. I mean, how ironic would it be if Halep ends up playing Serena at some stage during Wimbledon? I mean, there'll be plenty to discuss in the players' boxes if that happens. But I'll give you a little bit of an inside scoop here as well. I was doing a bit of commentary yesterday with Tim Henman, who sits on the committee of Wimbledon. And Wimbledon always like to announce the wild cards. So they are the ones who like to announce the wild cards when it's time to do so. But they sent Serena a message to say, yes, we're going to give you a wild card. And Serena was so excited that instead of waiting for the announcement to take place, she popped it on her Instagram, and the world knew instantly ahead of the All England Club actually publishing it. So that gives you an idea of how super pumped she is to play at Wimbledon again.
Certainly. And Bruce, as super pumped as she is to play at Wimbledon once again, let's talk about how she hasn't been active for quite some time now. And of course, this may be somewhat of a challenge for her. Could she be a bit undercooked going into this tournament? And what can we expect from her in action?
Absolutely. You know, there's nothing like getting matches under your belt. And we've seen historically in the last four major finals she's played, she hasn't been able to get across the finishing line. And I think the biggest reason for that, V, is because she has been undercooked. You need those match reps. I don't know how much she's been playing back in Florida either. The good thing about practicing in Florida is there are a lot of grass courts around there. So she'll have access to playing on the surface. And she'll probably be over here in the UK in the next couple of days. The courts at Wimbledon open on Saturday for practice. So I'm sure she'll get here early and try and get the feeling. You know, the movement as well when you play on grass is very different to the other surfaces. It requires a lot of little steps. You can't take big lunging steps like you can on a clay court where you can slide, and the way the players slide on a hard court these days. So all those nuances have to get, you've got to get used to all those nuances when you play on the surface, and it's going to be crucial for her. She has got the belief. When you've won Wimbledon as often as she has, the belief is there. It's just about surviving the first week and getting into that second week when she knows she's got a huge advantage over the rest of the field.
Bruce, I want to bring you into the conversation and throw the same question to you in terms of what we can expect from Serena in this tournament and whether or not you think she can make a serious run for the title.
Well, I think, you know, Serena, as Robbie said, is loves the grass. She's won 7 singles on that surface. She's won 6 women's doubles with her sister Venus. She's won a mixed doubles title on the grass, so it really, really is her favorite surface. Interesting, I just got news in now that she's entered the doubles in Eastbourne, which is the warm-up tournament before Wimbledon. She's going to be playing with Ons Jabeur, the African Tunisian who is the world number 4 singles player. So she's going to get a couple of doubles matches in, which is going to help her with the serve and volley probably. And she's going to be able to practice down in Eastbourne, a beautiful tournament at the Seaside Resort, an old, I call it the old age home of English countryside towns. and it's got a traditional tournament there that's been going for years, and a nice area for her to maybe warm up before she moves across to England. But, and also another news that's just coming is she's traveling with Eric Hechtman, who is Venus Williams's coach. So that's quite an interesting development that's coming through. And but I think that she's going to put as many games in that doubles. It's interesting she has entered the doubles and get as much match practice matches. She's going to probably get a couple of players to play a few sets with her on the grass and try and get into the groove. But as Robbie said, without any matches, it becomes very, very difficult. But she is very comfortable on the grass. They love her at Wimbledon. And, especially after that fall she had in the first round last year at Wimbledon against Alexandra Sasnovich, and on that wet, damp grass where she injured her leg, which put her out for this year. I think she's going to be given a rousing welcome, and I think with the crowd support, she could do quite well in the tournament.
And we do certainly look forward to that. But Robbie, let's move the conversation away from Serena for a moment. Let's talk about Novak Djokovic. He now has some high-level tennis behind him. How do we see him doing in this tournament? Could he be a favorite to win? And as you answer that, perhaps just talk us through. We know that Rafael also has that niggling injury that he was complaining about after that French Open.
Yeah, the foot injury. Had a procedure done to it straight, I think it was 2 days after the French Open, V. So he looks like he's doing a lot better. Picture surfacing in the last few days of him back on the grass courts in Mallorca, working out there. Looks to be moving okay, considering, how much he was talking about it at the French. I thought it would be a lot worse. I thought there was a very good chance he was going to miss Wimbledon. So the fact that he is going to be here and playing, I think it always makes it a huge addition for the tournament. But V, without a doubt, Novak is the man to beat. He is so good on the surface. He's got enough matches under his belt now. I think after the fiasco that went down in Australia, the fact that he's played as much as he has, without a doubt, he is going to be the man to beat. There's a lot of players that aren't going to be here, the likes of Medvedev, Zverev's out injured, the Russians can't play. So I think that dilutes the field somewhat. I think the biggest challenge is probably going to come from somebody like Matteo Berrettini, who won last week in Stuttgart. I watched him play yesterday here at Queen's, and he was outstanding, slowly coming into form off the back of an injury as well. He missed the entire clay court season. There's not too many players that I think that can trouble Novak on the surface. He's had the measure of Rafa. He's had the measure of Berrettini, of course, in last year's final. So take some of that hard-earned cash and maybe have a little wager on him, V.
Certainly, we will keep that in mind. And Bruce, finally, as we wrap up this interview, who are some of the dark horses in this year's edition of the Wimbledon tournament that we should look out for?
Well, it's going to be a tough one to say, VP, because there's so many players that aren't going to be playing, as Robbie alluded to, because of no points on offer at Wimbledon. So you've got a couple of potentials, maybe not even going. We can't wait for the draw. I agree with Robbie. I think that Novak is definitely the clear favorite going in. Berrettini definitely has got to be watched. He's got to the final there before. It's got confidence. He's playing well on the grass. But there's a couple of players that are going to lurk around, like, and I don't know, Robbie might be able to just come in there, because Shapovalov there's a couple of young kids that have big serves and good volley games. And of course, it's a very unique surface. The serve is absolutely crucial. That's why we saw Kevin Anderson do so well at Wimbledon, because he had such a big serve. And those that have the big serves will certainly have a better chance than most. But we're actually waiting to see how the draw goes about, because so many players left, right and center have decided not to play Wimbledon. They're going to rather take a 2-week summer holiday.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time here this morning. We do look forward to the tournament. Do have yourselves a blessed day ahead.
Thank you.
That is, of course, tennis analyst Bruce Davidson, as well as commentator Robbie Koening, talking all things Wimbledon. It does promise to be an exciting tournament. But that's how we wrap up your sports bulletin in this hour. Your final one coming your way in just less than an hour right here on Morning Live. But for now, time for an ad break. SK and Leanne will be with you on the other side of this.